G'day everybody, Simon here, Explosive Action. I am back for the third round of going through my heavy, thrash, and speed metal tubs. Let's get into it. As always, this video went to channel members first. You can join the channel for 99 cents a month. There's currently over 15 of you, and I have big appreciation for everybody that joins. You get early access to videos such as these and maybe some exclusives in the future. So we'll get straight into it. The third round now, volume 3 of what I think is going to be 8 of going through my OG mostly as an asterisk. So you'll see a few non-OGs in this video, at least in terms of like being 80s presses or whatever. But yeah, thrash, speed metal, heavy metal, bit of power metal, that kind of stuff, up to round 3. So let's get cracking. And we'll start off tub number 3 here. The first half. The second half is over there. You get a sneak peek of what that's going to look like, but we're going to look at the first half this time, and we start off with this bit of a cracker, Defiance, Product of Society, from 1989, and that was followed by Void Terra Firma in 1990. My personal preference is this one, but got the great Ed Repka artwork here on the first one. Often referred to as a second tier band, particularly vocally. It's kind of, on this first album, it's kind of strained, very bland, maybe. Hard to really argue, but I do enjoy the straight up, got a Testament, Zentrix kind of thrash that these guys do. It's enjoyable. Like I said, I prefer this one. The vocalist changed on this one. Steve Esquivel replaces Ken Elkington from the first album. And he was a marked improvement. So, yeah, both of these are Road Racer originals. So, yeah, happy with that. Haven't heard the third album, don't know what that one's like. Here's a belter, my god. And, yeah, there's a bit of a new trend lately to poo-poo on this album cover. I disagree with this trend. I think this is a fantastic album cover. It does exactly what it needs to do. Demolition Hammer, Tortured Existence. Band out of New York. This is from 1990. Absolute top tier brutal thrash. Very, very, very heavy thrash. Sometimes called death thrash, but you can just call it brutal thrash if you want. Original Century Media. Look at them. Look at them. Oh, them jorts. That's some quality jorts going on there. But yeah, that's a fantastic cover. Yeah, it's a total ripper. I don't have the follow-up, though. The second one, Epidemic of Violence, I really, really need the original of that on Century Media, but haven't been lucky enough to find it. This is a Century Media for this album. Next up, dropping the pace a little bit here, dropping the ferocity, Demon Eyes, Rites of Chaos. Band out of France, this is from 1984, killer artwork. That's what got me with this when I first saw it. This was on Facebook Marketplace a few years ago. I saw the cover and went, what the hell is that? Gave it a quick listen. Very, very happy. Fantastic French heavy metal. Heavier than Sortilege, more like ADX, I suppose. Sung in French. A lot of the French bands stay in French language, which is good. Original Ebony Records press as well. There you go. And the Ebony logo. Looking very French indeed. Look at them pouty lips. Yeah. This is a good one. Got a good pep to it. Demon Eyes, yeah. And this one. The French band that sounds German with that name De Kaiser, which just means the Emperor. This is Vautours from 1984. Good cover. Yeah, like I said, German name. Don't know why. This one's more like Sortilege than sort of ADX. Not as harsh. Sort of got a little bit of a new Wobbum leaning to it. Sort of bit of Angel Witch, bit of Satan, that kind of stuff. Some tracks are quite epic. Some are just a bit more rock and roll. There's the band. So, yeah, I mean, they look kind of like they've just left the 70s, really. I mean, look at all that. It does look like it's kind of leaving the 70s band. 1984. We're still on the early half of the decade. So it's not the most brutal thing in the world, but it's good. Good stuff, and I do like that fantasy artwork. Yeah, classic on the Devil's Records label there out of France. So, yeah, great stuff from De Kaiser. Next up, we have 2 from Despair. This is History of Hate from 1988, and Decay of Humanity from 1990. Really good fun band, this one, but largely forgotten. They're German and sort of technical, like Coroner, bludgeoning, like early Death Row, somewhere in between. A lot of fun double bass work, particularly on this one. And they're kind of infamous for having Robert Kempf on vocals on this album, who then left the band and formed, where is it, Century. Do we know who Century is? Well, we should do, because we just spoke about them. Century Media. So, yeah, he formed the label Century Media Records and then put Despair on that label. Andreas Henschel succeeded him on that second album as vocalist. He's got more range, actually. He's a better suited vocalist. A bit like Billy from Testament, really. Got grit, but it has a range. So, yeah, Despair, good stuff. As you see on the back of this one, it was Century Media, but it's got the Shock Records sticker. So this is a official import into Australia at some point, which is cool. Nice cover. That's Despair. Next up, this is a bit of an obscurity. Destiny. Awesome fantasy cover artwork there. Atomic Winter, Swedish heavy metal from 1988. Sold on the cover alone, honestly. They play a really well thought out kind of heavy metal like Sanctuary. Maybe a bit more of a power metal edge to them. Vocally, a bit like Metal Church. Occasional keyboards in there as well, just a little bit. Very eloquent solos. It's a very refined, very mature sounding thing. I'm trying to avoid saying sort of progressive, because I don't think it really is that. It's just a well-rounded, well-articulated, high level of musicianship, I think, is really what I'm trying to say there. So, yeah, gallopy riffs, some acoustics. It just all feels like there's a lot of world building going on here with Atomic Winter. So, yeah, their second of 7 albums. I've not heard the first or any of the other ones after this. But I'd be keen to hear some more. So, yeah, this came out on US Metal Records, even though Swedish band. So, yeah, Destiny. And what do I need to say about these guys? I could just skip this whole pile, but I've got Destruction, I've got Sentence of Death EP from 84. We have Infernal Overkill, first album, 85. We have Eternal Devastation from 86. And we have Release from Agony from 87. These are all the original Steamhammer releases. So, yeah, it's the Steamhammer logo. I mean, I don't have to say anything really, do I? It's Destruction. I mean, you're not going to get a better 4-run release schedule here than these Destruction releases, honestly. It's just outstanding. I mean, Cracked Brain was okay. I don't feel the need to have it, so I don't. I'm happy to stop at Release from Agony. And, all the modern stuff doesn't do much for me, but man, this early era, so good. Look at this. This is just... It's like the first Sodom EP. This is just proto black metal right here. It's so good. I mean, we got Total Disaster on this, and Schmear's absolutely venomous vocals. Got Invincible Force on this. A track so good. There's a band called Invincible Force that plays basically this style. And Eternal Devastation here. Got Curse the Gods. I mean, that's an anthem. Just absolute anthem. I like the Whirlwind cover as well. It's cool. And then here, we add a second guitarist, and just get a little bit more technical. Just a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more embracing the groove as well. And yeah, really interesting cover artwork here from Joachim Lutke. I'm not too sure how to say his surname. But yeah, one of his early pieces. He did plenty of things. I think he still does artwork. But I think this might have even been his first. It's really, really good. And yeah, all on Steamhammer. So yeah, that's my run of Destruction. I think, yeah, that's just absolutely fantastic. We go from Destruction to Destructor. Here we are. Look at that cover. Destructor. Maximum Destruction is the name of this. It's not on the front. It's just on the spine. 85. band out of Ohio, pushing the sort of heavier side of speed metal and then into thrash. Like the heavier, like take the heaviest album from Razor, and that's kind of where we are with Destructor. It's got the the classic. Look at that look there. Like they're not taking themselves seriously, but it's very metal. Got the leather, the bullet belts, the flying V, got everything. Songs about bondage and hot, wet leather. Yeah. But at the same time, there's tracks here about just maximum destruction and pounding evil. So we get a bit of Satan mixed in with our bondage. So yeah, Destructor. Take Command is a highlight track on here. Absolutely rabid guitar riff in that one. So yeah, it may look a little bit goofy, but it's a solid release. Definitely worth checking out on Auburn Records. There you go, Auburn Records. Look at the photos. That's just amazing. Total Halford look there. So good. Destructor. And we have Detente with Recognize No Authority. California band in 86 this came out. Looking very sort of hardcore punk with that cover. It really, really does. Yeah, very snotty thrash, and it does feel like it's got that grown up in the hardcore punk, compatriots all around them in that scene, and whether or not that's true or not, it definitely feels like it. It comes across that way. With the great Dawn Crosby on vocals on this, she was a real powerhouse, and there we go.
One example, the Taunt, a little bit boring thrash, but very great vocalist. Dawn Crosby. Look, big sunglasses, not Emperor sunglasses, big sunglasses. Very important. Always big sunglasses, cool band.
And absolutely there, as Fenris says, it's accurate. This is a really good album. She's got a really unique wailing style to her vocals. Like they're strained, but they just never stop. They're like this full-on, screechy but powerful kind of vocal that suits it so well. And yeah, I mean, dual guitar riffage. There's some crowd shouts and stuff like that. But yeah, listen to the track. Like the opening track here, "Losers," is awesome. But "Holy War," I mean, yeah, those ones are great. It's a very short album too. This one's on Roadrunner. So yeah, Detente with Recognize No Authority. And on to Devastation out of Texas. As you can see, we have Signs of Life, the second album here. Thankfully, the band really should have been a forgotten one and done. After that, gotta say, quite disastrous first album, Violent Termination. I don't own it. I don't want to own it. It's really, really bad. But somehow they managed to persevere and come back with this one, which I think gets overlooked a little bit. The last couple of years, people have been talking about it a bit more. Maybe it's had a reissue. I'm not too sure. This is the original, though. What have I got this on? This is a Combat original. But yeah, this is just really good. Sort of techie thrash. That I don't know. It's a little bit late in the game. It's from 1989. Their first album was a few years before it, so they took a while to come around to this second one. And I suppose being a sophomore, you could say it's not too late, but in many ways, I just consider this their first album because the first one was so terrible. But anyway, it's a really good album, but it is not as good as Idolatry. This is a belter. This one is not original. This is a reissue with a cutout. So this sort of frame around it. You can take the inner out. So it's really quite cool. This is from 91. So, the 91 era thrash, you're either going to go one of two ways. It's going to get a bit more groove oriented because Pantera, or it's going to just get more death thrashy because death metal. Devastation here is starting to go on the latter a little bit. The Scott Burns production really helps. It's got blazingly fast drums. Tremolo guitars, got them in that sort of Dark Angel, Demolition Hammer spectrum here. On this one, that's where it kind of fits. Meaty, like I said, that meaty Scott Burns production. So you listen to it and you think of, Heathen, you think of Sepultura Arise, which is pretty much the same year, I think. It's just so good. The opening track, the Deliver the Suffering is just a mission statement, absolute mission statement. Just like Arise on the Arise album, very much a mission statement. So, yeah, fantastic stuff. This is the more recent Repulsive Echoes reissue from 2016. I'd love to get the original, but yeah, the OG Combat goes for hundreds, so that's probably not going to happen. And moving past that one, we have, yep, that's it. We actually have Diamond Head, Behold the Beginning. A really nice cover on this one. This is from 1986, it's a compilation. I really just wanted to sort of dip my toes in the water, and this thing came across my lap for a very, very cheap price. And, you know, obviously I'm not going to, you know, pretend that I knew everything about Diamond Head. I know the key tracks, and I know them because of Metallica. And I wanted to hear the originals, how they were done, and, you know, why they were so influential to Metallica. And this comp does have most of them. So we have It's Electric, The Prince, and Helpless. But what we don't have on here, which is the big one for me, is Am I Evil? And yeah, me, you know, trying to work out how to get Diamond Head stuff seems to be a little bit difficult. One day I'll find out the best way to get all the tracks I want to get, because we've got the Lightning to the Nations album, but there's multiple issues of it, and tracks seem to change. Some of them include Am I Evil? Then we've got the second album, Borrowed Time, and that one does have Am I Evil on it. I don't know why it's on two things at once. And then we have these comps, and there's multiple comps. I don't know, it all seems quite messy. I don't quite understand it. Somebody might be able to fill me in why it's so messy with Diamond Head. But yeah, either way, look, I'm not going to, as I said, pretend to know anything about the band really, aside from the Metallica connection, and I just wanted to hear those tracks. They are good. Some of these other tracks here, they're like Sucking My Love is terrible. So, you know, it's not, yeah, they got some of them sleaze numbers that aren't great. But anyway, then we have Dragon from Poland. This is a really good band. We have Horda Goga from 1989, great cover. And then we have Fallen Angel from 1990, also a great cover. I've often thought about moving, particularly this album, into the death metal section, but yeah, they're truly borderline. This one's even got Blast on it. But overall, it's thrash, so I'll stick with thrash. They're loose and nasty thrash. That's pretty much it. They're very brutal, loose, nasty thrash. It's Polish. Famously, the first album, particularly, I actually think both of them, but at least with this one, Horde of Gog, or Horda Goga, as the version I've got here. This is the Polish language version, but you can get it with the same music, but English lyrics overdubbed. Then we have this one, which I've ended up with that edition where it's dubbed in English over the riffs. This is the English version out on Under One Flag, but there is a Polish edition, so there you go. Yeah, it's interesting how some of these bands, there's more than Dragon that did this. They had two different versions, the international market and the home country version. So yeah, good stuff. Then we have Drive, band out of Texas. Another interesting cover here. Kind of looks very proggy, which, you know, is not out of this world for what we get here. 1988, kind of Queensryche kind of heavy metal. I don't really like Queensryche. I don't own anything by them, but I did like this. Sort of got that progressive heavy metal sound. Some good vocal harmonies. I think it's only the one vocalist, but he must do some layering. Sounds really nice. Great guitar leads, as you'd expect for sort of more proggy heavy metal. Great galloping drums. Get a little bit of Marty Friedman in the guitars when I listen to it. So it's, you know, it's quite techy, quite progressive. But it's also not the heaviest thing in the world. You know, it's just very, very nicely done. Lots of really quality instrumentation and good vocals. So, yeah, if you like sort of clean, soaring heavy metal, then yeah, check these guys out. Drive. Pretty lame name, but yeah, there you go. Good stuff. And then we have Dream Death. Another great cover. Look at that. Journey into Mystery. This is from '87. This band is from Pennsylvania. Interesting. They are clearly thrash, so I'm happy to put them in the thrash basket here, but there's a lot of foreboding doom in their sound. I mean, there's a lot of, like, Celtic Frost and even a bit of Sabbath happening in the riffs, but it is kind of thrash. It's just not fast thrash. It's chunky. It's got the attitude of thrash, but there's a lot of doom in it, so it's an interesting sounding thing. I think the angry vocals, which kind of remind me of Green Jelly or Green Jello, if you prefer, I think that's probably what gets it into the that thrash spectrum a bit more. But yeah, it's great. It's out on New Renaissance. I don't want to say it plods along, but it's not ripping fast razor edge thrash either. So yeah, you got Dream, Death, Journey into Mystery. Great cover. This one, this is a ripper. Got this one a couple of years ago. Very, very happy with this pickup. Dioxin, First Among Equals. Band out of Canada, 1989. One and done tech thrash band. And we all know that there's something in the water in Canada because all of their stuff is great. Just amazing. Similar to sort of Toxic or Target. Definitely Peace Cells era Megadeth, for sure. Complex songs, but they're all ripping fast. Soaring vocals from singer-guitarist Michael Sanders. That's not him, and that's not him. He's not here on the back. I love the just kind of crappy but awesome artwork. It's amazing. And yeah, out on Active Records where Atheist were, so might give you a bit of a taste for the kind of technical kind of stuff you're going to get here. Dioxin, definitely recommend checking this one out. It's a one and done, so nobody knows anything about these guys. But yeah, First Among Equals, great stuff. And yeah, this one's also awesome. Band out of England, 1989. This is Energetic Crusher with a K. Path to Oblivion, great cover again. Nice hand drawn one. Love thrash covers, so many good ones. Pretty nasty and brutal from the sort of the Sadis school of brutal thrash. Uglier, snarlier vocals. Kind of remind me of like Massacre from France, which definitely make me think it's a little bit more death metal, but no, it's very much thrash through and through. It's another one and done band, and very savage, and generally sought after on Vinyl Solution. This one was also on Facebook Marketplace, where I got the Demonize, and I was so lucky. I was I saw it went up, I commented sold, and there was a lot of sad people after that because people want this thing, and to find it in Australia, yeah, very, very lucky. So Energetic Crusher. And it's not all old stuff in here. This is the heavy metal, thrash metal, power metal box. So yeah, where else am I gonna put Eternal Champion? We have the Armor of Ire, and I'll just quickly show that because it's got some boobage. We have the follow-up album sitting there behind it, Ravening Iron from 2020. I really do prefer Armor of Ire of the two. You look at this thing. If you don't know Eternal Champion for some reason, which I'd be surprised because they were getting a lot of love when this dropped, it's a very retro but honest take on sort of Cirith Ungol, with maybe a bit of Heavy Load and even some Black Sabbath, for sure, going on here. Eternal Champion is always, that's the Michael Moorcock character, or at least the reference to some characters in his series of books. And the band, they just sound like the covers. There we go again. They just sound like the covers. Big, epic, heavy metal. This isn't thrash, it's just big, epic, heavy metal. So, yeah. Mostly slow riffs. Out on No Remorse Records out of Greece. There you go. So, yeah. For a newer band that fits the mold of being in my, traditional metal all the way through to thrash metal tubs, Eternal Champion. And next up, an awesome forerun again. We have Exciter with Heavy Metal Maniac from 83. Violence and Force from 84. Long Live the Loud from 85. And the kind of, a lot of people find it underwhelming, but I don't. Unveiling the Wicked from 86. I'm going to hold this one because it's got the epic cover artwork, and I think it's sort of the fan favorite. It's really, really fantastic speed metal out of Canada. Basically, they took the Judas Priest sort of 80s template and just made it harder and faster. So it's not quite thrash, we're not there yet, but yeah, for sure, Exciter paved a whole bunch of speed metal bands. They predate Razor. It's just absolutely quality heavy metal, speed metal stuff here. The Heavy Metal Maniac is very youthful and exciting, very in your face. Violence and Force continues that and refines it, but Long Live the Loud. Yeah, like I said, a fan favorite. It's glorious. Absolutely glorious. The title track is epic stuff. It's stuck in my head now. I'm singing it to myself. Yeah, absolute banger. But the whole thing's amazing. The Unveiling the Wicked, the one behind it here, I'll pick that one up. Some people think it is, yeah, like I said, a bit of a step down. Maybe it is. I mean, after Long Live the Loud, I suppose it is a little bit, but I still think it's quite good. I mean, and more than that, I think it's really good. They haven't hit quite good stage yet. They're still really good, I think, with Unveiling the Wicked. Yeah, so half of these albums are on Roadrunner, the other half are on Music for Nations, so Exciter. Amazing stuff from Canada. Here's something less amazing, but still incredibly fun. We have, and you got to bask in this cover artwork, Executioner, In the Name of Metal. Let's take a bit of slow pan. Thanks, Mackenzie, for your amazing artwork here. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? This is like, year 9, you're scrolling on the back of your maths book, and then you signed at Mackenzie, and then your friends had a band, and that's what happened here. That's exactly what this is. That's amazing. Musically, though, this came out in '86, and the cover artwork sold me, obviously. But it turns out the 13 very short tracks on here. Try and turn it around, losing my grip. Very, very short tracks. They are fun. It's very amateur hour. It's very unpolished. Very punky, very immature, kind of like Hyrax, very early stuff. Not essential at all, but it is a good, fun spin. So yeah, Executioner, In the Name of Metal. I mean, that cover from Massachusetts. There you go. And as you would have seen behind it, we have the only Exodus that I need is this one, Bonded by Blood, and it's got a few scribbles on it. I don't know. Somebody decided to draw all over it. Should get my money back, shouldn't I? Right. Yeah, 85. I mean, this is Exodus. What do I need to say? Not a favourite band of mine. I don't feel the need at this point to go any further than this album. I really, really like this one. I've listened to little bits past it, and same as Anthrax, nothing's worked for me. But this one's really good. It's very youthful, again, very kind of juvenile, of course, but you can't deny tracks like Metal Command and A Lesson in Violence. I mean, look at this. So good. Music for Nations Press. Also infamous for Kirk Hammett in their demo days prior to this going on to Metallica, of course. It's not on the album, but perhaps some of his riffs are. I'm not too sure if there's any credits for him having contributed anything to the writing of it, maybe. But yeah, Bonded by Blood, it's good fun. It's really, really good fun. I mean, yeah. What else do I need to say? Exodus, yeah. Good. And then we have Exorcist, like the movie. This is fun. This is a band from New York, but not really a band. It is I suppose these days you would call it a project. And it was put together by the label Cobra Records. So the story goes, we wanted to do a bit of a horror-themed band, make the band members kind of anonymous, sort of ghouls. What you actually have here is members of Virgin Steel playing thrash. And yeah, that's it. That's what this is. And it's, good, fun stuff. It's very sort of Bulldozer, bit of Venom, that kind of stuff, and all the horror themes are there, so it's not very refined. It's quite ugly sounding, but that works really, really well. So yeah, Exorcist, not a true band, but they put out a really good album, so yeah, check that one out. Here's another obscure type one. This is Expect No Mercy with Steel Breed. Very Iron Forge Steelworks kind of cover there. Just a photo, nothing too exciting, but I guess it says what it needs to say. Pretty angry sounding German metal. It's got its foot sort of somewhere between Accept and Iron Angel. So not really thrashy, it's just metal. Gritty, very gritty. It sounds like, it sounds like these Steelworks. It's working man's metal. There you go. Expect No Mercy. But pretty unknown. Yeah, I don't think anyone ever talks about these guys. They don't do anything different. It's just solid songs that, you know, songs about metal. Metal, metal, metal. Fire in the night, soldiers on the way, on the battle way, heavy traffic, painted black, bleed, painted black. Yeah, it's on Mausoleum, which, as I've said before, you got a sort of a 50-50 chance with Mausoleum. It's either going to be, yeah, that's pretty good stuff, or it's just going to be utter dad rock, and that's not what this is. So, yeah, Expect No Mercy, Steel Breed, good stuff. And here we are with a Cogumelo release, and it's an actual Cogumelo one here. This is Explicit Hate, A View of the Other Side. Pretty crappy cover, to be honest. From Brazil, of course, because Cogumelo. 1988. One of the lesser known bands on Cogumelo, and that's a bit of a shame, because this is a ripper. It's not as evil as Mutilator, but it still draws from those creator riffs. The cover, and the logo all kind of looks hardcore punk. Like this could have been filed in a punk section and glossed over, but it's not. It's somewhere between, I don't know. Like I said, Mutilator, Creator, a little bit of Sarcophago, that kind of stuff, but probably more into the Sepultura side of things. It's just good Brazilian thrash. And like I've found with Cogumelo releases, there's the band. The big name bands, your Sepulturas and your Sarcophagos, impossible to find in one, good condition, and two, good price. But these lesser known ones do show up. So yeah, this is, I'd say almost near mint. It's a VG++ at least. And it's a proper Cogumelo. So yeah, there you go. Explicit Hate out of Brazil. Definitely give this one a check out if you're looking for more Brazilian thrash from the 80s to check out. Exuma, look at that cover. Possessed by Fire and Rising from the Sea. I'm going to hold this one. I think most people will know this band and that wonderful mascot. This is from 86. The second one's from 87. Really solid band. Particularly this first album. Sort of Slayer by way of destruction, I guess, is Exuma. The title track on this one, Possessed by Fire, is an absolute ripping track. The Rising from the Sea album, as I talked about a couple of months ago when I picked it up, I only had that a short while, maybe 3 months ago, is a little bit of a letdown, but not, I don't think as much so as others say. I'm still happy to have it, but it's just got a couple of tracks that make it feel a bit uneven. The kind of jokey tracks they could have, I don't know, done better with, but most of that album's still really good. This one though is completely awesome. So yeah, both on the label Disaster. There you go. Obviously if you're only going to get one, then you pick Possessed by Fire, but there's no harm in picking up Rising from the Sea. Just got a couple of tracks that are a little bit take a bit to get used to. And then we have Explorer with two X's. Don't ask me, just is. Symphonies of Steel, not Symphonies of Sickness. This is an odd one because this came out on 3 labels the same year, and they've all got different covers. And I don't mean like variations; I mean completely different covers. This is the best of the 3, in my opinion. Kind of looks the most metal and spooky. The other 2 are not great at all. This is not the heaviest band in my catalog either. This is from '84. There's a track on here that's just a piano, and there's another track that's like a power ballad kind of thing with female singer, but there are a bunch of good ripping heavy metal tracks on here. So it's a little bit like Attacker's first album, something like that. Just give it a go. I mean, the band look a little bit how you going. I mean, looking actually quite a bit how you going, but it's still really good. It just just don't expect Sarcophago, and you might be having a good time here. This is the Metal Blade version. Like I said, 3 different cover variants, 3 different labels. Bizarre, but anyway. And we're drawing to a close on this first half of the tub with Fallen Angel. Great little EP here. I love the artwork on this one. Nice hand-painted job. Band out of Sweden. This is an EP, like I said, from 1991. It's got an unofficial name, Trapped in Siberia. I don't know if that's just, since the internet days, somebody's decided to call it that, or if somewhere along the lines it had an unofficial name, a bit like how Metallica has the Black Album, even though it's actually called Metallica. I don't know, not too sure, but anyway, it's officially called just Fallen Angel. It's a shame this is fairly unknown because it's really, really good. And I'm not surprised it's unknown because independent release. There is no label to be seen whatsoever. An independent EP from Sweden in '91. It's you know, luck is not on your side for even knowing what this thing is, right? But really, it's kind of like Testament and Paradox kind of thrash. And '91, so you're already getting a bit late. You kind of got the Dave Mustaine squeaky vocal style. Works well. But being from '91, the plus is that we have a bit of a heavier sounding production. So good crunch to it. The drums are especially powerful. So yeah, Fallen Angel, it's a good little EP. There's an album that comes after it that I've not checked out. I think that was '92. But yeah, EP, really, really good. Next up, and this is another reissue. Not impossible to get the original, but this is what I have for now. Flames, Summon the Dead. This is from '88. As I said, another reissue here. This one's on Floga, Greek reissue label, which makes sense because it's a Greek band. This is absolute destruction. Again, sort of, I'm thinking that Sarcophago kind of blackened thrash, so that first wave black metal kind of stuff. There's blast beats almost in the title track. It's so fast. I really would love an original of this one day, but yeah, here we are. This is actually the band's third album, and they evolved a bit. The first one is called Made in Hell, and is a bit tepid, and the production's really bad, so I don't have that. The second one's called Merciless Slaughter, and there's a little bit of a sort of a stopgap between the two styles. They're improving. It's much more improved over the first one, but they haven't quite hit the ferocity yet. And then here we have Summon the Dead, and this just rules in like just a blood feast, but at 200. Look at these guys. Look how friggin' metal they are. It's so metal. Amazing stuff. Yeah. So good. Flames, Summon the Dead. If you don't know this one, definitely check it out. And not the original. I am not that rich. Only the richest kings of Europe could afford this original, Flames of Hell, Fire and Steel. This is a pretty hilarious bootleg. I think it's a purple one. I picked this up in store at Repressed Records maybe about 2 years ago now. Somebody had traded in this bootleg. I'm like, yeah, okay, I will pay $30 for this. I will not pay. The last sale on Discogs went for nearly €4,000. So no. Anyway, but this is a band from Iceland who infamously recorded this as a bunch of kids in a YMCA, and it sounds like it. Production is in the toilet. It's serviceable, considering the the quality of the recording studio, quote unquote, but very, very primitive, amateur sounding black thrash, first wave black metal, somewhere in there. The vocalist literally sounds like he is choking himself. It is just ridiculous. There's the back. So it's all a bit blurry because bootleg, and there's the original label. So it is a good bootleg though. It's kind of Venom worship with overdriven bass guitar. That's kind of where you are. Flames of Hell. I'm not paying €4,000 for this, despite it being a bit of fun. My $30 bootleg will do. And lastly, for this half of the tub, Flotsam and Jetsam, Doomsday for the Deceiver, and my preference, my favorite of the two actually, No Place for Disgrace, with the old seppuku happening on the front here. 5 seconds later from this photo, but anyway, painting, badness is going to happen. So yeah, No Place for Disgrace. I don't need to say much about Flotsam. Similar to Exodus, we have a not quite yet Metallica member in here, Jason Newsted on the first album, who moved across to Metallica, of course, but not on this album. But I mean, aside from this having an Elton John cover on it, which is pretty metal, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, it's actually a pretty metal cover. And they did a video clip for it, which is kind of ridiculous. It's Flotsam and Jetsam. They just did great American thrash. And that's the end of first half of this tub. And then that's the second half next time. And that's all for today's video. You can see where we're going to start the next one. When I do volume 4, we start with Forbidden. And then, I mean, that's a great one to be kicking off the next volume with. So make sure you tune in for that when I get around to that one. But as for this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Check out this guy. Check out this guy. See you guys next time.